If you're on Social Security benefits, I have great news. As you may have heard, the Social Security Fairness Act just passed, and President Biden has signed that into law. This means that millions of people are going to be getting $360 increases in their Social Security benefits starting in February. And on top of that, there is a $4,320 to be specific lump sum payment that is also going to be sent to these group of people. So today I want to talk about who is this for and who is eligible. But first, I did a video about this and a lot of you are talking about why this is not fair. So I want to deal with that. Let's talk about the fairness of the Social Security Fairness Act. Is it fair that the government, the Congress, has passed a Social Security bill that only increases benefits for a group of people and not all recipients? So let's dig into it. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because all we do here is bring you the latest news and updates, anything in and out of Congress that will affect your Social Security, food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, any personal finance news that may affect seniors. We want to be the first to bring it to you. So let's jump into this. So the news is everywhere. You may have heard about it. This is PBS. Biden signs bill that raises Social Security payments for millions of Americans. Biden signs Social Security Fairness Act. When do higher payments start? That is from Newsweek. Here's Reuters news agency. Biden signs Social Security measure to expand benefit for retirees. Then let's look at Kiplinger. Social Security Fairness Act will boost retiree benefits for millions. Will you be impacted? We have CBS News. Social Security Fairness Act signed into law by Biden, enhancing retirement for millions, and so forth and so on. But here's the truth. Not everybody is getting this increase. And at a time when food prices have gone up and stayed up, housing costs, transportation, gas, medical care, rent have gone up and stayed up. The fact that Congress has passed a Social Security bill that is impacting just a section of seniors, and not all seniors who are on Social Security get to benefit from this increase, is what I want to talk about. So, what are the details? This affects over 3 million beneficiaries who will see their checks jump from an average of $1,976, which is the average Social Security benefit, to for some people up to $3,559. But here's the thing. This is not some phantom money. This is something that these people have earned. They've paid their way into it and are finally getting the benefits. So we're going to have a broader conversation about whether this is fair or not. So stay till the end of this video, because I'm going to address the issue and give you some pointers on what is on the horizon, what Congress is planning, what bills have been put out there that have a higher chance of getting passed to increase Social Security for everybody. But let's talk about the Social Security Fairness Act. It's been a 40-year battle to get this passed. It's going to cost $190 billion, and it affects only government workers. Why? Well, since 1983, government workers have fought against the WEP's unfair reduction of earned Social Security benefits. Many workers had second jobs or had post-retirement careers and paid fully into the Social Security system and to the government pension. So organizations representing teachers, firefighters, police officers, postal workers have been lobbying Congress for decades, 4 decades to be precise, watching each reform bill come up short. Well, finally, Congress decided to act. So for the affected retirees, the WEP has meant that they get about half of their earned Social Security benefits, and some teachers, after retiring 30 years and having worked in the private sector, they get their Social Security benefits cut by 40% to 50% because of this bill. So this is righting a wrong. This historic repeal of 40-year WEP provision addresses a long-standing issue where government workers with pensions had their Social Security benefits significantly reduced. So now a lot of them are going to see a big jump starting in February. And to qualify, you should have worked for the government and you have worked for the private sector. It means that you left your government job, or before you went to the government job, you worked in the private sector for 10 years, which is how many years it takes to qualify for Social Security if you're meeting the quarterly amount that you're supposed to make each quarter to get one credit. So, what is going to happen? Well, let's talk about the current situation. The average Social Security beneficiaries is getting $1,976 a month. And this is calculated based on your lifetime of earnings. And in most cases, it's about 50% replacement rate, which means that whatever money you were making before you retired, Social Security is going to give you about 50% of that as a replacement. So it's not meant to give you everything. Well, some people also get up to 90% if you're low income. They try to get you to 90% so that you get a reasonable Social Security benefit to live off of. Now, the people who were affected by this WEP, the repeal corrects the unfair, reduced Social Security benefit that these government workers get. Some of them got up to 50% cut. Even though they paid into FICA, they pay Social Security benefits. And the argument was that they were double dipping and that they were getting a government pension and then they were also getting Social Security separately. And so the Congress passed a law a long time ago to make sure that if you worked at a government job and you were getting a government pension, even if you paid into Social Security, you worked for 10 years in private sector, you paid into Social Security, you were eligible, you were not going to get all of the money you were eligible for. So, and on top of that, if you died, your spouse cannot get the rest of your Social Security, and or your widower cannot get the rest of your Social Security, and spousal benefit was denied to some government employees whose spouses were eligible for benefits under the regular Social Security. So I want to make this clear that this was done to right a wrong, but it does not mean that it was fair, because a lot of people are on Social Security benefits are experiencing hardship, and people were expecting that if the government or Congress was going to pass a Social Security reform bill, that the increase will apply to everybody. Well, that's not what happened. So let's talk about it. Is the Social Security Fairness Act fair to all? These people have worked, they've paid into the system, they've waited for 40 years. Some of them have waited for 40 years. And now the government is righting a wrong to government employees, people who work for the government, teachers, firefighters, police officers, postal workers, etc., that were denied benefits that they had earned on top of their government pension. But here's the thing. COLA for 2025 is 2.5%. So some people are getting an average of $40 a month increase. However, with this new Social Security Fairness Act law that has been signed by President Biden, on average, the government workers that were impacted are going to get about $360 increase on their monthly Social Security check. And some people will get as much as $1,559 if they paid a lot into the system. So lives are about to be changed, that's for sure. And then on top of that, there is a lump sum payment that each of these beneficiaries are going to get. Is $4,320 minimum. Where did I get this number from? Well, the government says the average person, and the president talked about this. President Biden said the average person is going to get $360 increase, government workers that were impacted by this. And then they are going to get retroactive lump sum starting in January 2024. So not only are they going to get $360 a month going forward, the government is going back to January 2024 and going to give them a lump sum for the last 12 months. So you take 360, you multiply that by 12. Hopefully my math is correct. That is how I came up with the 4,320. So at least that's minimum. Some people will get more. So those who paid more into the system, this is the average. The average is $360 increase a month. But some people are going to get more than that. So if you are getting $1,000 increase in your Social Security benefits because of this bill, you're going to get a $12,000 lump sum payment check to catch you up. I mean, it's not catching you up for everything you've missed, but at least you're starting with a 12-month catch up before your increase takes into effect February or March. So let me know your thoughts. If you're watching this or you watch the replay of this, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the Social Security Fairness Act? Yes, the government workers have earned the benefit. They've been waiting a long time, and they finally got the relief that they've been seeking. But on the other hand, this is only impacting 3 million Social Security beneficiaries. There's about 72 million Social Security recipients. So what about those people? Why is Congress not passing a law to help them? Because Social Security benefits and inflation is a different story. Social Security benefits have not caught up to inflation because cost of living adjustment every year doesn't really reflect true inflation that seniors and people on disability are facing. And so you're always behind. And for most people, when they get their Social Security increase, like the 2.5% the government approved this year, Medicare premiums, Medicare Part B premiums, which are taken from your Social Security check, pretty much eats up the increase. And then some seniors, on top of getting a Social Security increase that is so tiny, some of them then get a letter where other benefits that they've been receiving get cut. For example, I know a lot of people have commented in the comments that your food stamps have been cut. You got a letter a few days ago, a few weeks ago, that your food stamps are going to be reduced, even though you're not getting much in Social Security increase, and that even the little increase you're getting is being eaten up by Medicare premiums. So, look, I get it. I understand why people think this is not fair, that they should have passed a law. Why is it only government workers that are being taken care of? It's like the government taking care of its own, you know. But here's the thing, though. They have waited for a long time, and they paid into the system like everybody else, and so they should get what they paid into. So I think that's a fair argument, but I think the broader argument that something should have been done to benefit everybody else, I think makes a lot of sense. So this bill is going to cost a lot of money. It's $190 billion, and it's going to speed up problems with the Social Security Trust Fund. As you may already know, the Social Security Trust Fund is going to run out of money in 2033. And this $190 billion bill that was just passed is going to add to that problem and speed up how fast the Social Security Trust Fund is going to run out of money. So it's like fixing one problem and creating a whole set of others for everybody else. But here's the thing. Regardless of what you think about the Social Security Fairness Act, there's a bigger problem that Congress has been avoiding, which is the fact that something has to be done about Social Security to keep it and maintain its solvency for everybody. Of course, if 2033 comes and Congress does nothing, then everybody's going to get an automatic 20 to 30% Social Security cut. And nobody wants that. So what are the options available to Congress to fix Social Security? Well, that conversation is for another day, but I'm going to explain a little bit of that very soon. But here's what we're looking at right now. If you are a government worker, you work for the government, post office, police officer, firefighter, etc., teachers, and you were impacted by the WEP or the GPO, meaning that you are a spouse or a widower, currently your Social Security benefits have been cut, but you may get up to a 90% replacement if you are impacted. So some people's benefit is about to go up a lot. And more than 3 million Americans will receive a lump sum payment for thousands of dollars to make up for the shortfall in benefit they didn't receive in 2024. And for some people, as I mentioned, it's about $3,559. According to the Federal News Network, eliminating WEP will increase monthly Social Security benefits of impacted individual on average about $360. And eliminating GPO will increase monthly payment by $700 for impacted spouses. So if you're a spouse of a government worker, you were denied Social Security benefits or some of it, your life is about to be changed because you could get $700 a month. And this is from the Federal News Network. That's where I'm getting my data from. $700 a month increase for impacted spouses and $1,100, $1,190 for impacted surviving spouses by December 20. So a lot of people are about to get a bump. So no longer will there be a penalization or penalize government workers for paying into Social Security and getting a government pension. That has been eliminated. And here is the thing. The elimination of GPO means that the impacted retirees applying for spousal benefits are eligible for, on average, $250,000 in additional lifetime benefits. So when I say people's lives is about to be changed, I'm not kidding. It's a lot of money. And this is all coming from the government Federal News Network, where I got all my data from. As of December 2023, there are 2.1 million people who were impacted by the WEP, and there are 1% of beneficiaries. The WPO and WEP, when fair or not, they are changing a rule that has treated people differently. Here is a map of states and where it's going to be impacting people the most. And some states, some people are going to get 90%, like California. A California worker eligible will get about 90% replacement due to the state's separate pension system. Whereas in Arizona, you'll get 50% because of how your pension system works. So even among the states, it's not going to be even. So what's going to happen? When is this money going to start getting out? Well, Social Security is going to take January 2025 to really figure out everything. And then starting in February and March, they are going to start sending out payments. You don't have to do anything. They will send you the money automatically because they have all the information of everybody that they denied benefits to, that they should have given benefits to. So they just have to go back to that list and send you the check because they have your information already. Now, eligible recipients will receive a lump sum payment covering the retroactive period, which goes back to January 2024. So money is going to come to some people in a lump sum. And as I said, about 4,320 on average. And some people could get a lot more, given what I've told you recently. Now, when the law was being debated, there was this heated debate in the Senate about the fact that this is going to cost a lot of money, it's going to impact a lot of people unfairly because we're fixing one problem and creating a new set of problems for the Social Security Trust Fund. So there was this proposal to increase the retirement age to age 70. Republican Senator Ted Cruz and others were pushing for that. So my question to you is, do you think the Social Security retirement age should be increased to age 70? I want to hear from you in the comments. Why am I asking this question? Well, here's the thing. If nothing is done about Social Security, we know there's about 20% or 25% automatic cuts that are coming in 2033. The way to solve it, one way to solve the Social Security Trust Fund issue is to increase the retirement age, because then that slows down how much money or how many people are retiring, and it increases the longevity of the retirement fund. Another option is to bring more money in through taxation. So Social Security taxes will have to go up. Currently, it's 6.2%. You individually pay 6.2%. Your employer pays 6.2% for a total of 12.4%. Well, that may have to go up. Or Congress can go back and fix something that they shouldn't have touched, but they did touch, which is previously there was 2 thresholds of Social Security eligible taxation. So if you make, for example, let me use 2025 as an example. If you make up to 176,000, you have to pay Social Security taxes on your income, Social Security and Medicare. Previously, if you make 400,000 and above, you also have to pay money on anything 400,000 and above. Well, Congress got rid of the 400,000 and above because, I don't know, because they can. And so that severely impacted how much money comes into the Social Security fund. And as you know, Social Security, some people are paying it in, and then some people are taking it out. And you're supposed to have an equilibrium where there's a balance between the people who are paying it in so that enough money is there for people who are taking it out. I mean, I'm making it very simple, but that's the basic idea of it. So if you slow down the amount of money that's coming in, but you increase the amount of money that's going out because there's a record amount of baby boomers that are retiring in the next decade, then you can see how we're in the situation we're in, where very soon, if Congress does not do something, automatic cuts to Social Security are going to happen. Some have estimated that it's going to be about 25% cuts across the board, or at least people who are retiring. But I think it's going to be more than that. So one idea is to increase the retirement age again, even though it was increased from 66 to 67. If you've paid attention over the last 5 years, they've been increasing the retirement age by 2 months every year. So 2025, if you retire, your full retirement age is 66 and 10 months. In 2026, it's going to be 67, and it's been slowly crawling up from 66 for the last couple of years. Well, they're thinking of bumping it again to 70. So here's the thing. Look, there's going to be a lot of noise about Social Security in the next Congress. You know, when the Republicans take full control of the government, they are going to pass a big tax cut to keep Trump's tax cuts permanent. And if you know anything about the Trump tax cuts, you know it went disproportionately to the rich. But that's for another day. The central point is that they're about to extend his tax cuts. Where are they going to get the money from? Well, it's going to be programs for people who do not have powerful voices in Congress. And typically when that happens, it is food stamps, it is Medicaid, it is, heating and cooling aid and assistance, it's child tax credits, it's Social Security and Medicare. They're going to try and tweak on the edges. For example, the new drug benefit, the new drug plan that was negotiated, where Social Security, can cap Medicare out-of-pocket costs to $2,000, or there's all these changes that have been made recently to Medicare to make sure that people can afford it. If that is eliminated, that's going to be impacting a lot of people. So what I want you to do is pay attention to what's about to happen in Congress, because politicians like to tell you, we're not going to touch Social Security, we're not going to touch Medicare, we're not going to. That's not true. They have ways to tinker around with it in the edges, and you may not see it in your check, but it's affecting you in other areas, because they may tighten some rules somewhere in Medicare, and all of a sudden your Medicare premium goes up, or they may remove something that the insurance companies want to be removed, and all of a sudden something that the government was paying to subsidize costs for everybody all of a sudden get taken away, and then your cost goes up. Yeah, your Social Security check is the same, but you're paying more for healthcare. So my point is that pay attention to what's about to happen in Congress, because something has to be done with Social Security and Medicare to keep them solvent for a long time. And that discussion is about to happen. And just pay attention to what is done. Read everything. Make sure because they may try to sneak a fast one, because they're good for that. They may sneak in some provision somewhere, and all of a sudden, you're paying more for something that you shouldn't. So my point is that they tried it here, and I'm reporting something that happened. Senator Ted Cruz of Texas tried to push a bill with others to raise the retirement age. And then Joe Manchin of West Virginia also tried to slow this Social Security Fairness Act down, because they think it's physically irresponsible. So if they are not willing to pass a bill to restore benefits to people who have earned the benefit, then the chances of Social Security increase coming are very slim. I know there's been a proposal to increase Social Security benefits by $200 a month. It's been on the table for the last 3 years. I think that should be put forward for a vote. But you're going to hear the same complaints. It's too expensive. We need to balance the budget. We need to cut the deficit. But here's the thing, they're going to approve the projects that they think they want to approve, and then not approve the things that could actually help people that are struggling. So be vigilant and pay attention. So finally, I want to leave you with this. If nothing is done with Social Security, there's going to be a crisis. There's going to be an automatic 20% reduction in all benefits. That's just there. Google it. It's a fact. So if you're getting $2,000, now you're going to be getting $1,600. Or if you're supposed to get $3,000, you're going to get $2,400. So something has to be done. And my hope is that politicians who, of good faith, will sit down and realize that there's a problem. You either bring in more tax revenue, or you increase the retirement age, or you do a little bit of both. But something has to be done to save the Social Security system. So I want to hear from you. What do you think Congress should do to save Social Security and increase the longevity so that we don't get to 2032 or 2033 and then have a big problem? I want to hear from you in the comment section below. And I'm probably going to do another live talking about food stamps cuts that are coming. Google it. It's about to happen. They're about to cut your food stamps. So I'm going to give you all the news tomorrow in my live. So stay tuned. I'm going to post about it, and I'm going to do it tomorrow evening. And I'm going to bring you all the latest news about what is about to happen to food stamps and what you can do about that. So until I see you in the next live, thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.